Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Toni, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the oversexualization and hypersexualization of Black women and children. So before we get into this video, don't forget to give this video a big old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and click on the notification bell because there's lots of content like this coming out very soon. So I really wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of the times us as a Black women, we are overly sexualized on a regular basis. And it is frustrating. A lot of the times it's apparent in schools. I feel like in school, we constantly have to change what we wear. We have to think about what we're wearing, how we're wearing it, even if we're petite. It's something that constantly happens and is an issue in society. So I want to break down a little bit of the research that I did and a little bit of what I know from my personal experience and just seeing this firsthand. And yeah, without further ado, once again, let's get straight into this video. So as we all know, Black men and women, us as Black people in general, we are deprived of our innocence at a very young age. In regards to Black men, we always say that Black boys don't get to be boys. They're automatically seen as men at astronomically young ages, which causes lots of issues when it comes to police brutality, racism, classism, generalization when it comes to Black people, and we are all forced to grow up really quickly. So I'm going to share my experience as a Black woman and just kind of break down Black women because I am a Black woman, and I also feel that a lot of the times Black women, we kind of get forgotten about when it comes to these really important topics on race and the experience of being a Black person in America. One of these is us also being seen as adults at really young ages. So I want to speak about Black girls and the oversexualization of us. To start off, I have to give you guys the definition of sexualization and what it is and how it connects to Black children. So this website that discussed the oversexualization of Black women that I found really helpful was ayanatherapy.com, and she created this on June 20th, 2020, so about a year ago. So she says, sexualization is the practice of excessively sexualizing individuals, an act that Black girls and women are heavily subjected to. This deprivation of innocence has a deep-rooted history in the United States. So we're gonna go down history lesson lane and kind of discussing where this all started from, the root of the oversexualization of Black women. So when Europeans traveled to Africa in the 15th century, they saw that Black women wore very little bit of clothing. And as we all know, Africa is very hot, so that was the reason why Black women wore very little clothing where they're from. And also culturally, African dances are very suggestive, but that's just how we move our bodies, should we say. So that made Europeans believe that Black women were very sexual. So on the website Marquette Wire, the author Hope Moses, she wrote an article in the opinions column about 9 months ago. And she said this in regard to her research about a man named William Smith, who was an English colonist, and what he said about Black women during the 18th century that continuously led to the idea that Black women were more sexually inclined. So he wrote that African women were hot constitutioned ladies who are continually contriving stratagems how to gain a lover. And then writings like this, like I said previously, led to the continuous thoughts that Black women were constantly being sexual and all they really want is to please a man sexually. So during the slave era in the United States, Black women were referred to as Jezebels. This term was really used to decipher Black women as being very promiscuous, and it kind of gave excuse for sexual assault towards Black women because they wanted it. So these views, though it's now several centuries later, led to Black women not being able to be children. So Black young girls are automatically objectified once they even start going through puberty. So instead, we are kind of forced to live in a society where our innocence is labeled as sex. So this leads to me speaking of Sarah Bartman. So Sarah Bartman was brought into Europe by a British doctor. She was brought to be an act in a circus, but they were labeled as freak shows to show interesting people to Europeans. Sarah's stage name was the Hottentot Venus, and she was constantly paraded around these freak shows in London and Paris because of her seemingly large buttocks. So literally, white people, parents, and children were crowding around to look at her butt and to see it. And this kind of reminds me of, which I'm going to be doing a whole separate video on this, but this is going to be a little bit later. It's on my schedule, but it's going to be done probably the next month, so bear with me. But on the hypersexualization of Black women in R&B and hip-hop, and kind of how a lot of these artists have to go and get plastic surgery to achieve these unrealistic beauty standards, which is having a bigger butt and a bigger chest and a very slim waist to kind of make it into the industry. And that is a whole video for a whole different day because I got a lot to say about that and then their crude lyrics that we all listen to. And love. You know, I'm trying to say I do love it a little bit, but it does sometimes get repetitive, and that's another video for a different day. But basically, she was paraded around like she was an animal and some act and not a person. Now, Sarah died December 29th, 1815. However, her exhibition continued. Her brain, skeleton, and sexual organs remained on display in Paris until 1974, and she was not buried until 2002. Today, she is seen as the epitome of colonial exploitation and the constant ridicule and dehumanization that Black people suffer with on a regular basis, and of course, the epitome of racism. And not only that, this is an example of what many Black women with larger assets have to go through on a regular basis. So as children, we have to think of things when it comes to how we wear our clothes, what clothes we wear, the color on our nails, our hair, how much skin is showing, and how these things are perceived to others. And these Black young girls grow into these Black young women who still have to think about these things on a regular basis. As adult Black women, we have to be conscious of what we're wearing in professional settings, going to the club, going to the park. Black women's bodies on our own is seen as inappropriate compared to the white woman. Our bodies can result in harassment in the workplace and sometimes even being fired for that harassment. So I found this study from a 2017 Georgetown study that spoke about Black women, how they're sexually perceived at such a young age. So according to this study, it was found that Black girls as young as 5 years old are already seen as less innocent and in need of less support than white girls of the same age. So this presumption, which is incredible, like I cannot believe that that is the case at all. But anyways, this leads Black girls to have worse punishments than their white counterparts who may have done the same thing, or sometimes not even doing anything and being punished because they're seen as adults more than their white counterparts. Black girls are seen as more argumentative, more aggressive, and more violent than their white peers, even if they aren't. So continuing on, a 2012 African American Policy Forum reported explaining that when it comes to school discipline, Black girls are punished more severely because they are viewed as more aggressive and less feminine than white girls. The failure to address this narrative is why more and more Black girls are being pushed into the school to prison pipeline, which means the policies and practices that are directly and indirectly pushing students of color out of school and on the pathway to prison. And this leads to the many other injustices within this country when it comes to Black people and the legal system. The legal system begins in the classroom, if we're being honest. As adults, we don't feel safe with cops. As children, we don't feel safe with teachers and the authority figures that are taking care of us because they look at us as more violent. So these false narratives are also displayed in media. Like I said previously, I'm going to go more in depth in that when it comes to the video I'm going to be filming about Black women in hip hop and R&B, because that all relates to media. But a lot of the times in our TV shows and what we see on social media, the news, Black women are increasingly objectified and put into these very low class roles. Not only that, it has also affected the way that the Black woman's body should be perceived. Many people believe being a Black woman means that you come with more curvy bodies, bigger assets. However, there are Black girls like me who are more petite, and that also results in lots of insecurities and people expecting us to look a certain way, but then being disappointed when they see that we are petite. The adultification of Black girls leads to the ongoing violence when it comes to police versus the Black community. It affects us not only just sexually, but it affects us also in the legal form. Because apparently in America, Black girl equals argumentative, overly sexualized, masculine, and violent. So this is why it is incredibly important for us as Black women, Black men, to continue advocating for the success of Black women and Black children, and to protect Black children, protect Black girls, protect Black women. Take a stance when you see something wrong happening. As Malcolm X said, the most hated group and unprotected group in this country is the Black woman. And it's shown every single day. Continue protecting Black women. Let's continue to show that Black women are more than just whatever America has created us to be. We're not that. And many of us are educated, beautiful, confident, accelerating, amazing women. And that's what needs to be seen more inside society. Alright guys, so that's the end of this video. Of course, I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Please share your thoughts. Be respectful down below. I would love to hear what y'all have to say. This was a very important topic for me to speak about because I definitely have noticed it a lot. Even me, when I was in school, the way I wore my skirt was always too short, even though I was skinnier than this, compared to my white counterparts who would roll up their skirts multiple ways. When my skirt was never rolled up, it was always, that's just how it fit me. But I was sexually objectified at a young age of 14. So yeah, this is definitely an issue in society, and I hope that it definitely is fixed, because I ain't trying to have my daughters go through any of this, because I'm ready to fight somebody trying to try my kids. Alright, y'all, I love and I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you got to this point. I appreciate you. Click that subscribe button and comment down below. And also share this video and turn on that notification bell. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.